Hello, and we're live once again. It is interview number 4, and I tell you, I won't say we've saved the best for last, but yeah, we have a great interview lined up for you today, and I'm so excited. And we want to welcome those who are joining us via our Facebook group page. So, welcome as we go live both on YouTube and also on our group page as well. Today, with this final interview, we're going to talk to the extraordinary one. Her name is Ann Duplessis. I'm going to bring her in right now. We're joined by Ann Duplessis, and Ann wears many, many hats. I'll have to make sure I read some of this. She is the senior vice president of retail banking at Liberty Bank and Trust, a former elected official, education advocate, a lobbyist, president of an insurance company, a notary, real estate brokerage firm, so many. And I told you that I would not even attempt to try to get it all in. Did I miss anything?
No, you got it.
Thank you for being with us on the launch of the Powerhouse Woman Show.
It's my honor. This is quite an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We've been talking about Powerhouse Women today, and it's been running the gamut. There are some who are at a place where they're at a crossroads. Others are really looking to do something different. Some are saying, you know what, I've been running hard for a while. I really want to pivot or shift or rest. So I thought it would be great to talk to you about managing many roles. And that is something that I think once we just had a taste of your bio and your information, you seem to have figured out how to do. So let's talk a little bit about managing many roles. What's your secret? How do you do it?
Well, Monica, thank you. It's not easy. I think the best way that I can explain my success in managing the various roles that I have is one word, and that's passion. I recognize that the things that I do today and the things that I've done in the past, there was a reason. There's a vision for the work. The vision is to build something that can be sustainable, build something that I can leave to generations. And so the various things that I am involved in and have been involved in, all are really fit into my master plan.
Mm-hmm. Can you say what the master plan is, or is that something between you and your master?
Well, to retire comfortably. Well, you know what? And because I do so many different things, I am the type of person. I'm a continuous learner. I love knowing a little bit about as much as possible, right? Because it always puts me in a better position when I have to negotiate or when I have to accomplish something. And so I guess I know that I'm going to continue to learn and continue to evolve as I grow older. My interests change, the things that I enjoy change, and that's okay. People think that there's something wrong when you want to do something different, right? People, the traditional thought process is you go to work, you work wherever for 30 years, and then you retire. Well, from my age, you go to work, you work for 30 years, and then you retire and you live off Social Security. I don't want to do that, right? I want to run with my girls. I have millennials, and so I want to run with them, and I want them, as I've taught them, I want them to teach me, and that's what I think keeps somewhat of the value added. Not only for my employer, but also the value added for the other enterprises that I am involved in.
Well, one of the things that I mentioned was that you're a former state senator here in Louisiana. And I want to talk to you about oftentimes when we're called to do something and we move from the intersection of what's now to what's next or out of our comfort zone, it can be a big ask. It
Yeah.
could be a big task or it could be a huge dream. And I'd like to talk to you a minute about David versus Goliath moments and how to deal with them, especially when perhaps people in your family, people in your circle don't see what you're trying to do. And in some kind ways and some not so kind ways,
Yeah.
they tell you you don't have a chance. What do you do?
I, you know, I have been very blessed that I was raised by a family that had a strong, strong faith in God, right? And so, yeah, it's okay to talk about God in business, right? Because God is the reason why we are successful in business.
Absolutely. And on this show, we
Um,
talk about
and
it. Yeah.
so, that David versus Goliath, I guess, issue is it. I when I ran for office, people said you can't do this, and you don't have the money, you don't, and I almost fell into the trap of believing them. But I typically went back into my own little shell and had a conversation with God. And my mantra is if you want this for me, it will be happen. I just got to work for it. It's not going to be given. I have to work for it. And so I realized too that time that I spent in the legislature was a telling time as it relates to how I would grow as a businesswoman, how I would grow as a negotiator, how I would grow as an influencer going forward. One of the things that I was told early on is know what you're talking about, and if you don't say anything. And
Yeah.
so I took a lot of time to be well read, to study the issue, to know the issue, not to speak just to speak. But when I did have an opinion, the opinion was typically the right one. Or when I did, have to talk about an issue, I typically had my facts where most of my colleagues didn't. And so that brought a level of respect. And I think as a powerhouse woman, and those powerhouse women out there, that the first thing you have to do is to figure out how to command the respect. That doesn't mean being abrasive. It doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being passionate, but it also means being well educated.
Hmm, those are great, great, great. That's a great piece of advice. The next thing I want to talk to you, Anne, about is knowing when the season is over. Because sometimes we think, particularly if those powerhouse women out there who are very successful, perhaps at the height of the professional power, and they just want to keep going and keep going. They do not want to relinquish control. It's their baby, and no one else can do it. They don't want to learn anything new. How do you know, and how do you address, or even be aware of when a season is over?
You know, and I go back again to my legislative days. As you may or may not know, I didn't serve the full term on my second term. I made a decision, and it was a well prayed on decision to leave the legislature early and to leave the bank because I was also working at the bank with the bank at the time, and to do something totally different. The idea of letting go, what I feared the most, and again, it goes back to just my Christian beliefs. What I feared the most in not letting go was that thing, that legislature became my God. It became more important to me, right? And so I had to prove to myself that I only have one God. And being in a position, being in a spot, being in a place, um, could not be as important to me. And so I also realized that, when we stay in one spot, right, we never grow. And so we don't have a clue what God has in store for us or what else is there. And I'm just inquisitive. I wanna learn new things. I wanna do new things. I wanna, be able to sit with my with anyone, right, at any level, and have an intelligent conversation or funny conversation or not so intelligent conversation, and still be able to be who I am. And you know what? We're all different. Your powerhouse women that are watching this show are going to have their own personality, and they're going to have their own reasons why or why not. But the one bit of advice is that we make sure that when we choose not to leave, or when we choose not to move into a new season, that we're choosing because that has become so important to us that it became your God.
Wow, that is something very positive, powerful, and we are out of time. Unfortunately, I could sit at your feet and listen to you and hear your
I love
wisdom
you,
as well.
Monica.
But we want people to know again, you wear so many hats, you manage so many roles, you're on boards. We've even talked about the
Yeah,
boards that you're on, both
yeah.
local and state and national board as well. But we want people to know how to find you. So we have here is your web address at Liberty Bank, your email address, I should say. And for those who are really interested in the other hat that you manage as well, you're on Instagram and Facebook at duplessisrealestate.com and at Duplessis Real Estate. So this has been an incredible show, words of wisdom, and thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
yes,
You are a true powerhouse woman.
oh, thank you. And this show, this idea I've had for a while, and now we have the tools and the talent, and we make
Yeah.
it happen, especially with great guests. Thank
Thank
you so much for being with us, Anne.
thank you.
Oh, very, very good. And coming up, we will have one more segment. I just got a text from somebody said, have you been on all week? No, it just may feel that way, but no, I've been on today, all day long. And at 7 o'clock, I'll have the wrap up. So join us then, won't you? Thank you so much. And we'll talk very, very soon.